So here I am down close to the river here. Just kind of walk down a little further away from the road. And this area floods frequently. I mean, you have all kinds of leaves, sand, all kinds of things just kind of through the woods here. And then you got these appliance dumps like this, a refrigerator, bed frame. And let's go a little further over here. Oh, look, someone's entire household belongings. The appliances anyway. You got washing machine tubs. You got a steel case desk. Various pieces, maybe more than one. You got the file cabinet section of the desk here. What else we got? Oh, that's my TV. And last but not least, a refrigerator. Wedged between two trees. So you can see that tree started growing definitely after the refrigerator was dropped here. It's kind of pushing in on the refrigerator. So that's going to be wedged in really nicely. That's going to be fun to get out of there. So we got digging to do. If you like to dig, this is your project right here. This alone will take several people, several days. Baby steps, little at a time, we'll get it. Okay, now a little further away from the appliance pile I just showed you. Now this has opened up a lot since I first spotted it. I call this the Beaver Frat Party. It looks like a bunch of beavers got together and just had a rousing good time, tossing all their empties. So look at this tree. This tree's a monster. If you look at the aerial photograph, there's the roots. It's the double tree, double trunk. If you look at the aerial photographs of this area, you'll see this tree further upstream, like over here somewhere, oriented differently. And some recent floods kind of turned it around. So I think this bottom end kind of swung around this way. And at first, this entire section right here was just jammed with logs, sticks, leaves, trash, you name it. It was just full, packed full of stuff, like you see over here, like this stuff. Now, unfortunately, what happened is the river had its way and eventually broke free all the jam that was in here. And so, unfortunately, all the bottles and cans and everything that was in that pile, in that jam, is downriver somewhere. So we'll find it. It'll be up on the banks. It'll be wherever. Actually, some of it's probably right there. Some pieces of the old jam. But we'll find them miles. It could be in the bay by now. Who knows? But we've recently mapped this section. If you go to Google Maps, and I'll give you that information later, we've mapped all these areas so you know exactly where on the map this is. If you want to come out here and work on any of this stuff, we've got it pinpointed. We give you GPS coordinates, and you can come out and go to town on this stuff. A lot to do. Look at all this stuff. I mean, these are some things I didn't even see the last time I was here. I thought I got all the tires out of this pile, and every time the river comes through here, it either adds more or it washes away some debris, and you can see some more underneath the sand and gravel. It's incredible how much stuff's down here. Look, there's a bumper. That's the foam insert of a bumper of a car. I bet I know where that came from. Somebody upstream on state property, across Hanover Road, somebody from maybe a local business who did auto collision repair, dumped, I mean, probably scores of bumpers. I can't tell you how many, less than 100, definitely more than 50. And every time we get huge rain, like those hurricanes and tropical storms that came through in August and September, more of those get washed down here into the state park. So I've contacted the Maryland folks. They're actively working to clean it up. We've offered them volunteers. So far they've declined to accept our help. They said they'll get some inmates in there to to work on it. I've actually seen some trucks driving out with some of the bumpers already, so hopefully that's not a problem we're going to have anymore. But here I'll show you. Here it is, probably a mile away from where those bumpers got dumped, and here it is. I just pulled this out of the sand. This is something I haven't seen down here yet, but I'm not surprised. It's one of those aluminum newspaper boxes, like mounted next to your mailbox. I don't know if you can see it there. It says the Sun Paper. That's something they don't use anymore. Now they just throw it in a bag, toss it in your yard, and you gotta go find it. Customer service has really gone downhill, hasn't it, since the newspaper boy. Well, looky here. What have we got? Looks like a traffic cone buried in the sand. Imagine that. That's going to take some digging. That is in there pretty good. That must be why they paint them orange. So later when they're buried in the river, you can find them. Yep, there it is. Traffic cone. Nice little flip-flop. Water bottles. And it's got a nice rim on that too. Slurpee cups. Water bottles. Arizona iced tea. Whiskey. Big chunks of styrofoam. Lumber. Aluminum siding. So take a look at this. And people got to wonder why the bay is not as healthy as it could be or should be. This is one bottle at a time. One toy that a kid kicked down the road and didn't retrieve it. Little styrofoam pieces. They just turn into more smaller and smaller styrofoam pieces. One of my favorite things that I find on the side of the road, and in this case in the river itself, is these cans of marking paint. Now, these are the things that highway crews, utility contractors use to spray paint the road. They spray paint the road to mark where the utilities are, where cables are underneath the road, etc. You see it's got a little spray nozzle on the top here, so they can shoot out straight ahead. Kind of point it and shoot like that, and you can hear that. That's still got paint in it. And I found several of these in the last couple weeks. Let's read the ingredients. Boy, that should be interesting. All these things that are bad for you. I've been finding these things half full or more on the side of the road after these crews are finished painting. It's crazy. They spray a couple arrows on the road and they toss the can in the woods. And this is the mentality we're fighting here. These are people that feel like they're never going to get caught. There's no reason not to do it. Just toss it in the woods. Nobody will see me. Nobody will care. Well, guess what, folks? This is going into your fish. There's the river right there, with all the tires and other junk that you're tossing in the woods along the side of the road in your storm drains. This is where it ends up. Here's your paint can, buddy. This is the can where you mark the road for the county or the state, and decided to toss it in the woods, here's where it ended up. In the environment, in your fish, in your crabs, in your oysters. This is where it ends up. Unbelievable. So, here's what we got to do. 2 things. Pretty simple. Number 1, to undo all the stuff that's already been done. All this junk you see. It's already here. Let's get rid of it. Some of it's already marked on a map. Some of it's new every day. And that's the second thing we need to do, is stop making it worse. There's a finite amount of trash here in the woods. We can get it cleaned up, it'll stay clean. But if people keep dumping stuff and they're never caught, there's never a price to pay for that, it'll never change.